Our Cowboys analyst, Glenn Stretch Smith. Stretch, we appreciate you being with us. As always, we were just talking about this 15 or so minutes ago, what we think the Cowboys will do with their defensive coordinator opening and how to approach this situation. We talked about it a little bit in terms of the scope of the process and how many different people they have interviewed. What does that say to you, Stretch, about the influence of Brian Schottenheimer and how it may be larger than probably anybody expected this time a year ago when he got the job?
Yeah, I mean, I think a year ago he got the job and the defense coordinator was already in place. So now you need to undo this knot that's been in your shoe. It was a bad defense this year and try to redo that. And you got to appreciate the fact that, hey, it's his record that's on the line, right? 7-9-1. That's tattooed here for forever for him. It's on Google forever. And so he should have a say in who they hire. Now, here's the thing, guys. You got an offense that's got to continue to play at the level they've played at, and you got a short window for the quarterback. That's why I'm saying I want that experienced guy in here. I don't want a project guy.
Coach, I'm curious because that kind of follows a trend we've seen from the Cowboys in recent years of taking former head coaches that then come in and then switch over to solely defensive coordinator position. How much do you think that's going to factor into this search?
Well, I think a little bit, but I mean, it doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to have been a head coach. In my mind, he has to have called the defense in the National Football League. So that's not taking anything away from Jim Leonard or any of the other quality candidates. In my mind, I want a guy that's ready to hit the ground with his feet running. And by the way, that means create a game plan for a secondary that's going to have to be completely rebuilt.
I'll grant you that by hiring somebody who hasn't called the defense before, you open up yourself to a higher likelihood that it flops because it's somebody who they've never done the job before. Of course, who knows how this is going to go. Do you close yourself off, though, from the possibility of finding the next superstar? Why not look at somebody that is one of these up-and-coming guys? Clearly in Philadelphia, they think very highly of Christian Parker, so much so that the moment he was mentioned in connection to the Dallas Cowboys, Eagles fans lost their minds at the idea of him coming here to Dallas.
Which is saying something, by the way, but
anyway. It's a permanent state of being in general, yes. Sure. However, do you close yourself off from that possibility of, hey, this guy might be the next fill in the blank, Steve Spagnuolo, whoever you think is the best defensive coordinator in the game? Do you not think it's worth evaluating somebody like that, Stretch?
Oh, no, I think it's worth evaluating. It's just not what I want to do. But, I mean, I understand what's going on in Philadelphia, right? They had Jim Johnson, and they had, Buffalo's head coach right now, right, was Jim Johnson's understudy. So I get what Philadelphia is anxious about. I also get that it's in the division. So I understand. I mean, Sean McDermott has done a great job in Buffalo. He was the understudy there, and so you see why they're a little gun-shy to lose a guy in the division. But I need somebody that's experienced right now. That's just where I am. I'm not in the market for a whiz kid.
I think that's kind of the question is because as we've been handicapping next season at this point, we just want an average defense. We don't necessarily need to turn the clock entirely toward the opposite direction where this is a defensive-focused team. I think the question then boils down to, is it just about getting to that 15-16 mark, Coach? Or is it worth, like Mike's saying, trying to buy low and get something long-term out of this team?
Yeah, I mean, guys, I'm from the KCK era. Neither one of you guys know rip about it. Hey, keep your feet in the ground and reach for the stars. I'm all about it. I want somebody that can absolutely, if he can pole vault this defense into a top 12 defense, let's do that. But let's be realistic.
Right.
We need critical stops with a really good offense right now.
And it comes down to, obviously, the personnel, and that's what we've spent the entire night before we jumped on the air talking about, is the fact that this team needs to nail those 2 first-round draft picks. They need to nail some of the guys that they bring in free agency, because it has to be about the personnel on the field getting a significant upgrade, not just the coaching and the scheme getting an upgrade. Stretch, I'm curious your perspective on the conversation that Andrew and I had about a week ago relative to the proper allocation of funds for a football team and how you want to direct your energy, like You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers were the good example of like the middle ground. Do you want to split your money, split your effort, split your draft picks 50-50 and end up with an offense and a defense that are both right around the middle of the pack? They had, what was it, the 14th best offense and the 16th best defense in the NFL.
It might have been
very
reversed,
much
something along those lines, yes.
with both. Or would you rather have maybe not the extreme that the Cowboys had this year, because clearly that didn't work, having a top 4, top 5 offense and 31st best defense in the NFL? Which one would you prefer to have on the high side, the offense or the defense? And what's the right mix there? Is it 80-20? Is it 65-35? How would you allocate that if you were pulling the trigger, if the Cowboys finally hired a GM and it was you?
Well, I'm not going to get the job, but I can tell you right now, I mean, I know as an offensive guy, it's much more difficult to play offense than it is defense. That's not taking anything away from the defensive guys. You guys have been out at training camp enough. You hear what the defensive coaches coach. Run to the football, take the right angle, run to the ball, run to the ball. Yeah, okay, great. But at the end of the day, we got to be able to put 11 on the same page to go move the football. So, this year, I want to see them draft the guys that fit whoever the defensive coordinator is. And I don't want to see them reach. That's the one thing that they can't do is reach. They got to line them up correctly and then go draft according to what they see and how they feel. So much more that than I would say, how do I want to split the salary cap? Because right now, I don't know that you can do that with the quarterback making the money he's making.
Sure.
And let's be entirely frank about this. The drafting process has been the issue over the last couple of years, specifically looking at the first-round talent. So as much as they have the first-round capital, Mike, it hasn't necessarily paid off for them in that front.
We got a little window just now into why Glenn Stretch Smith's son played quarterback and didn't play defensive end. He's all about the offense, baby. Hey, I'm cut from the same cloth. I got no hate in the world for it.